Yo, what's up? It's your boy Travel Oblivion. Listen, now, Shinobi Striker recently, well, not recently, I'm a couple months old, but has gotten an update. And since I talked about it, I think it's, I think it's, I think I gotta follow up with it and tell you whether it got better, good, or what was going on with it, like I said in the previous video. Now, I have a list of the things that I said in the old video of things that need to be fixed that, really stuck out to me and really needed some more polish to become a full-fledged game. The first thing I said was the environment not really matching the style, and what I mean by environment, the outside, the wilderness sort of didn't match with the inside Kona. Like it was very jarring how different the styles were. Like you got this anime village style with this realistic style, like a environment, like a realistic game that you'll see somewhere like Rust or something like that, and it's like very realism, where it's supposed to be more anime style, more cartoonish stuff like that. And another thing I said was you would expect this with an undeveloped game, but it's a lot of bugs, a lot of glitches, things getting caught, breaking animation stuff, various things that seem not complete yet or done, but that's to be expected. But I gotta point it out regardless. And also another thing I stated was just having one person work on like an open world game. That it's not impossible to work on a game solo, even if it's as big a scope as an open world game, but the time it will take to finish is just, having somebody on your team to help you with various things that you can't do, or you can't do that very well, will always increase productivity. This is not something that needs to be done to make the game. It's just something that will help the game progress farther and faster. And having more than one mind on a game can help you see more perspectives, and also help you more like judge, critical things, or to remove critical things. Because your game is your baby. If you make a game, it's exactly how you like it. But when other people play it, you're going to see that it's very, it's very different than how you interpret it. Like if you make a horror game, you want the player to open the door, but they just run away. It's like, why did they do that? You're supposed to go here. So that's why always having more than one mind can help you show, like, hey, this isn't conveying good enough that they want you to open the door. How about you try this? But that's just, that's more of a nitpick. And another thing I said that will really will help this game out so much is to have a white box level or a testing level, which they sort of had with their tutorial, but that's more of a tutorial, not a testing. Testing is for developers, tutorial level is for players. And as far as I know, he doesn't have that, and it will greatly increase productivity to have something like that, because the world and the player looks to be made at the same time, and the world got rushed. That's why it looks not. That's why it's not in the cohesive style. Now, with this new update, I've seen a couple of things, little here's and there, like UI elements and different placements of characters. But there's three things I wanted to talk about that really improved to some extent. The first thing is the environment has become more like the style of the it's more stylized. It's not more realistic. The wilderness is not realistic. It's more stylized now. The second thing is they added a skill tree, which is unique, and they added level systems with that skill tree, obviously. So when you get kills, you can level up, unlock new jutsus and taijutsu, all of that, and then drag them onto your hotbar, and you can use them from there. And as I already mentioned, the leveling system, and that's pretty much, well, basically what came with this version 2. Now, the thing I wanted to talk about was how this update is pretty much very empty. Like, I know it seems pretty full, but it seems like all this work that came into the update that really stuck out could have been done in, like, a week. So that's not, just so you know, I'm not knocking the developer. This is just constructive criticism. I'm just trying to, just letting it be known that something is, not, what's the right word, not adequate for the amount of time, you know. And the first thing I want to talk about is the environment changing. Now, they did an amazing job updating it, but it still doesn't look cohesive. It's a cartoony style indeed. But look at this picture. It's a picture of the village hidden in the leaves right next to the environment. See how drastic it is? It's so different, and like it's so jarring to see that. If you come around that ridge, you want to see something that looks like it'll be in the land. Like, look at these pictures of Shinobi Striker. Now, this game is obviously a Naruto game, but in each one of these pictures, there's a different location in the hub world, and nothing looks out of place. The same color palette, same shell shaded look. It fits. And that's the problem with having you gotta have the exact style. This is like the environment in Project Shinobi is slightly cartoonish, which is better than the realistic one, but it's not all the way cel shaded or similar to the one that is used in the village. The best thing I can tell you to do with that is to have a color palette, and if the textures aren't yours, then I suggest you make your own textures and use a signified color palette. Or if you do want to buy assets and it will help you progress, then use assets that have those particular colors that's in the village, or try to find one that doesn't and that does, and try to match it, because it's really like this. It just seems like the saturation is turned up. I'm not gonna lie to you. But the second thing I wanted to talk about is the skill tree. The skill tree is a nice addition on the surface, but as a game dev, I know that it seems like nothing has been done from the first build I looked at. In the first build, you were able to perform all the jutsus that's in the skill tree. There's not any new jutsus that I know of. I've looked at the skill tree. There's no new jutsus. It's the same as last time. So basically, all the jutsus that were put on your hotbar already that you could do with keybinds have been moved to a separate pop-up window that you can purchase and drag with. And that seems like a lot of work, but that can be done in a week. That's like a week of work if you're really dragging your feet. And it's more of just like, if I buy this Rasengan and I put it in my hotbar, allow it to use. It's no different from the other build where you could just use it. All it is just another key. It's like another, like, if the player did not buy it and put it in this hotbar, then he cannot use it. But in the previous version, it was the same thing, but the only if statement for that was, if the player doesn't have enough chakra, do not use it. So it's just adding like 2 lines of code to an if statement. Not really, but that's essentially what it is. Once the skill tree has a new jutsu, or a different character can access that skill tree and get different jutsus, then I'll see viability in the skill tree. Because for right now, it's nothing more than just rearranging the hotbar of last build. But like I said, if there's a new character with new jutsus, or there's different jutsus added, then I will see the validity in adding the skill tree. Now, I did see the leveling system, and it was a good add, nice UI. I didn't see anything wrong with that. The thing I was like really questioning was when you talk to Kakashi, you have choices, like dialogue choices. I don't see the point of that. Now, there's like probably 2 reasons. One, that you want to have a kind of like Life is Strange, cyberpunk, like choose your own adventure style game. And if that's the case, that is like those games are so hard to make, because if you want to portray a story, especially in one that's already gone, and like everybody knows the story of Naruto Shippuden, that watch anime. If you want to try to integrate those systems with story, you're gonna have to keep track of so many storylines and different things. I think it will be easier just to simplify it and just have it like an okay, or like there's no reason to have 6 different options to say okay. I don't even think it'll be wise to go into decision, go into like choices to a certain extent. Like some games you could have choices, but I think it's unnecessary right now. That something like that could be added later on, like a side mission or whatnot, or it could even be in the main missions where stuff like you choose whose side you want to be on and whatnot. But doing that for everything, it's just another thing. Doing that dialogue system for every interaction just seems like it seems like it is going overboard. It doesn't have to be used that much, and every time you talk to Kakashi there's a list of just 5 different options. It doesn't have to be 5, I just think that putting all the effort into dialogue like options is unnecessary, but it is what it is. That's all that's really in the game. The update was pretty, the beast, Ninetales and Susanoo are still stagnant. They don't do anything. They still clip. It is in a different form. I believe the last version was, base Karama, and now he's in his upgraded form in this version. It's kind of, it's kind of empty. That I will, commend him for the work on the skill tree. The skill tree is still, that skill tree, while it did virtually nothing other than lock some jutsus behind a leveling system, it has, how do I say it? It just made it a few more gates to get to that jutsu, and now that you can have custom ones, hopefully that platform made it easier for them to build on and expand it. Once it gets expanded, I'll give you full credit for adding the skill tree and a leveling system, because right now it's nothing new. It is a feat to do that, so I'm not gonna say, oh, you didn't do anything. It was some work involved in that, and you did try to attempt to change the environment style to more anime cell shaded style, so I do appreciate that. I'm just waiting for version 3 and see if anything like comes out of it. I'm still gonna say the same thing I said in my last video. It's looking better, but you still gotta change those things. I think having a team, I don't know if there's a team on it now, but when I covered it last it was one developer. But if there's not a team on it now, you should probably get one. You don't have to. I work a lot. I work solo on majority of my projects too, so I'm not the one to talk, but I don't try to make MMOs, so it's kind of a give and take situation. But other than that, that's just all I gotta say, man. It's kind of hey, when version 3 comes out and it has what I said, I'll give you the full recognition. I'm out.